Okay. But have you visited the ground for the friendly, the Ernst Happel Stadium? Have you guys been taking on a tour of the place yet, or that will happen later, if it will happen?
We have not been taken there yet, but I'm hoping that match day -1 would offer that opportunity, because we should be able to go there for the pre-match, or if it so happens that we have to train there before the friendly, the last Monday to training, maybe we might go there to also have a feel of it. But as it stands now, we're just using the Austria football place for their training and all of that. Nowhere close to the match day pitch.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Abigail. We'll catch up later. But how's the weather like now that the sweater is out? It must be chilly. Is it cold?
In the mornings like this, it's manageable, favorable, but in the afternoon it gets really chilled. When you are seeing the sun and all of that, so I'm just getting stressed if I would have to step out, and that doesn't mean that I'll be caught off guard. So in the mornings,
Okay, all right. Well, you take care. We'll catch up later. Enjoy your day and stay safe.
Thank you.
All right. That was Abigail Senasosu joining us from Vienna in Austria. That's where the Black Stars are getting ready to play their friendly against the Austrian national team on Friday. It's the first of 2 friendlies in this international window, and the Black Stars are hoping to use these 2 matches to get ready. 1 against Austria, 1 against Germany. Look, thumbs up to the GFA for putting these 2 friendlies together. I love the friendlies. They are top friendlies, high-class friendlies. And I have to commend the Ghana Football Association for getting these friendlies for the Black Stars. Whoever it is that said yes to Germany and Austria, thumbs up to you. You need a salary raise, right? Because it's a wonderful idea to play some of these top countries ahead of the World Cup. Will the result matter? I won't fuss too much. I would rather be very concerned about the performance. Do we have an idea? Do we learn anything? From these friendlies? We'll have to wait and see. So it's a wonderful time that the Black Stars are in right now, playing 2 very important friendlies and helping Coach Otuado and the rest of the technical team decide on the way forward, decide on the players that will go to the World Cup, and decide on players who will not go to the World Cup. All right, let me give you some info on the Vienna football campus where the Black Stars are currently training now.
This is Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
So the Vienna campus, the Vienna football campus is obviously in Vienna. Now it's constructed by the Austrian Football Association, and according to the info I have, the plan is that it will serve as a national sports hub. It opened earlier this year, so that is that. It covers 55,000 square meters in Donaustadt, which is Austria's 22nd district. Now, a lot of these European cities are divided into districts and boroughs and all of those things. Now, it has 3 natural grass pitches, 1 artificial turf pitch, and a mini stadium which has almost 1,000 seats. The additional facilities are fitness areas, locker rooms, and accommodation for players. Now, the project was jointly funded by the federal government of Austria and the city of Vienna. Each party contributed 23.14 million euros, and the rest of the project was covered by the Austrian Football Federation, bringing the cost to about 75 million euros. Annual operating expenses are about 1 million euros. So that's what it takes to run the place. Though organizers are saying that they want to keep the operation budget below 1 million euros. Now, beyond football, the campus will host major sporting events like the Frisbee Euro Championship, the Special Olympics National Championship. It will also host the Austrian League's VAR Center. And that they used to be at Vienna Meidling. It's moved All right, and they will install floodlights and all of that. So previously, the Austrian Football Federation operated from the Ernst Happel Stadium where the Black Stars will play on Friday, but they decided to move to this new place. So that should give you an idea of the Vienna Football Campus. It's a wonderful facility. It cost the Austrians 75 million euros. 75 million euros. 75 million euros. That is where the Black Stars are getting ready. In terms of the Black Stars, you heard Abigail talk about the fact that Thomas Partey arrived in camp. He's yet to jump into full training. But if you go to the GFA's official website, they have a story here that said that 21 players trained on Monday. Let me go through the list once again. Kelvin Owusu is back. I'll get his thoughts. Lawrence Atizigi, Benjamin Asari, Joseph Annan, Patrick Pfeiffer, Derek Lucasen, Derek Arthur Kahn, Jerome Opoku, Caleb Yirenchi, Kojo Opom Pepra, Jonas Ajete, Marvin Senaya, and Gideon Mensah. Elisha Owusu, Ibrahim Suleimana, Kwesi Sibo, Jordan Ayew, Prince Kwabnedu, Christopher Bonsuban, Abdul Fattah Isahako, Antoine Semenyo, Kamaldeen Suleimana, and Daniel Eje were all in action. Thomas Partey has joined. I think he'll be part of training today. Alex Jiku is set to join, and earlier. So the story did say that Kojo Opom Pepra was in camp, and then the story later added that he was supposed to join. We wait to see what the actual story is. But Abigail also did say that some players, it looks like there might be some changes because some of the players may not make it. We'll get a clearer picture as we go along. Time check is 8:16. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Let me bring Kelvin back in. Kelvin, any thoughts? I'm sure you were listening to Abigail as she was giving us the report. You've also heard me read the names of the GFA's website. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the Black Stars as they get ready for the friendlies.
Well, I think it's quite interesting. Yes, like I've said, this is a great opportunity for Otado to quickly let us know that he's a coach that we can trust going into the World Cup. I've always said it. Yes, he struggled during the AFCON qualifiers, but you could see glimpses of progress. Glimpses of progress that we saw, especially when we recovered and started playing the World Cup qualifiers, where he played in his Niama Kudus in a double 10 role. That Niama had to, just be brilliant. But there are still questions about the players that he's called. Many are still asking questions. The likes of Pfeiffer, the likes of Lucasen, the Senaya guy who plays for Auxerre. The attackers that he's called, there are still questions about them. And, so I still think that he could have done something better with, the team that he knew already, just as I was making a case for the local players. But like I said, every national team has, a coach and what he's looking for, how things would pan out, how things would turn up for him. I look quickly at what I see with this team, and I think that maybe Otado has a plan that he thinks that these players actually understand his philosophy and ideas. Remember, every time I use the French national team as a case study because the decisions that have been made always go a long way to help the team.
True.
Many were thinking, why is it that Alexandre Lacazette is not being called? But every time Olivier Giroud was being invited to the team, even though Giroud was on the bench of Arsenal and then Lacazette was starting, it was all because there had to be that system that would favor, a game plan that would favor the rest of the players. The team had, a playing style that had to suit the materials that the coach has at that particular point. And I am thinking it is the reason why Otado has called these players. Now, it gives him a good opportunity that in trying to, make a replacement for his core team, he will quickly make amends, by trying to find solutions to the areas where there are lots of liabilities, less trust with regards to, even the first choice players. These are the games that give you an indication of the mentality of the team and players and what each and everyone can give. let's not forget, there was this same pre-tournament friendlies that saw Milo making changes and dropping the likes of Lai Kinson and Stephen Appiah nearly missed the 2010 World Cup.
Yeah.
Because he played that friendly between the under 20s and then the senior team, and then they were like, come on, I think these players are going to play and then these players are going to be on the bench. Lo and behold, in that final month or 2 months, he made quick changes, made sure that those players were going to properly adapt to the team. And when they did, we had a very solid team that took us all the way to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Well, unfortunately, we missed out against Uruguay on penalty shootout and failed to get into, the semis. That would have been wonderful. So I am thinking the same lines with Otto, and especially for someone who has been lambasted. We all saw the sweat after the AFCON failure, thanks to our friend Kobe Stone and all that. Since then, he's actually made certain decisions that you clearly understand that this is a coach, and now he wants what he wants to have. It's the same thing with the Andre Ayew situation. We hear from reliable sources that the coach is the one making the bold statement that I think I don't need to have him in the team. Look at the bold decisions with Benjamin Asari in the team, and I think that now he's gradually accepting the fact that he's in charge. He's the brewery of his own drink. If he makes a bad juice, he's going to drink it himself. And he makes a good one, he's going to enjoy it with the rest of Ghanaians and the rest of the world. And I think he himself has a point to prove to tell us that, yes, the reputation, the Otoado from 2022 has grown, has learned, and is capable of giving better performances. I just hope that these players who have turned up for this particular friendlies will show the way, will put up a very good fight. And I am happy. That, we are playing against Austria and then that is Germany. These are two teams that will give you very good tests. Very solid team. You look at the German team and you may think that, oh, come on, this is a team that does not have names or numbers and all that. But they are very good, well-oiled team, especially for Julian Nagelsmann. So if you have that, you know that, yes, you're going to have a good test. And yes, I like the mood in calm, the likes of Semenyo, Ibrahim Suleimana, and then, laughing at each other with their boots and all that. I just love that camaraderie between the players. Just hope that they would quickly adapt to whatever the coaches are planning. And now we're finding the tactics. I don't want us to get to, the tournament or get close to the tournament and then you see the friendly picking up a different ideology with regards to tactical plan and all that. That would be different from what we see. Unless there is something drastic that happens. Obviously, if you have Niyama and Kudus available, it would obviously change the way the team plays.
Yeah, that's true.
Because those two players are heavy ball carriers and they move a lot with the ball. So it means that you may have a change in how the team plays, but it shouldn't be to the extreme. And I just hope that this is what Otto and the rest of the technical team are thinking about. I just hope we give a very good account of ourselves, especially for some of the newbies that questions have been raised. It was the same thing when Jerome Opoku, Jonas Ajete, all other players were coming into the national team. People raised questions. But when they came and they delivered good performances, people had to, be quiet. And then they should note that if the players who have been called fail to perform, then we have every cause, every justification to just start raising questions about whether they can be good for us or we would have to replace them with some other players which we thought would be okay. So, yes, preparations underway, everything seems to be fine, and hopefully that first game is on Friday, right?
Yes, 5 p.m.
Yes,
Ghana time.
Friday, and hopefully the Black Stars, will turn up in grand style. Yesterday the welcome to Semenyo and everything. You can see Benjamin Asari going through his paces. Last weekend I nearly got worried. The Pando pitch during the game, he actually clutched onto his ankle because the pitch had a dent in there, and then he nearly, caused some bit of pain or knock to that particular position. But I'm glad he's very much fit and then will be in action. I really want that test for him at that international stage.
Yeah.
if you are playing in Stuttgart against Germany, if you are playing in Vienna against Austria, that Austria team, I look at them, they are really stubborn.
This is Sporty FM.
Really stubborn. They have some quality players. If you look at their team and you underrate them,
This Austrian team,
if you look at their team,
is the culmination of a lot of work done by Ralph Rangnick, right? And
Yes.
this Austria team is the living testimony, let me put it this way, of the success of the Red Bull project.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it. If somebody asks the Red Bull project, what did it give anybody? Point to the Austrian national
And
team.
you see, they have very good players who are very much experienced. Konrad Laimer, Arnautovic,
Marcel Sabitzer,
David Alaba. Sabitzer, the only person if I see I'm not afraid of is Tottenham's Kevin Danso. that guy has issues. But when he's in that system,
Very good.
he becomes a different
Yes,
player
he's a different
altogether.
player.
And that is what I'll be thinking of. They have a
As
very
for
good
the
team.
quality of the Austrian
Yeah,
national team,
they have a very good team, you know.
We'll talk more about that during the
Philip Mwene and all that, all those players are in there. I just hope that, yes, I would give a good account. But yeah, everything seems to be in place. The players have arrived very well in camp. So, Otuado, the rest is yours. You know.
Well, typically would be talking to Michael as I do via the via technology.
Technology.
We've worked some magic. And Michael is here in the flesh. Michael, how are you doing? Good morning.
I'm good, Nathan. Good morning. Good morning to the listeners.
Michael is here decked out in a white tee with a Bible quote in it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in my Osofo mood, Osofo Dazi. So I need to switch to the other end. Okay, no
Please
problem.
go to the other end and then I take your thoughts for the look of the camera. Let me take your initial thoughts.
And I love what we are seeing across the world. Oh, you know, yes. Now the gospel is being preached. I love
The
it.
gospel is going.
Yeah, Sebastian Koda. This one I was listening to his interview, and you know, I love it. I love it that
it has
I
to
love
go
it.
down.
I love it that now evangelism is cutting across everywhere. Those times it was just a bit too quiet. If you don't see the pastors doing it,
No, that's it. Now there's everywhere.
Yeah, now
I think it's about innovation. You need to innovate.
You have to go with the
Previously,
times.
we'll go with the conventional method.
Yeah.
The preacher man will just stand by the roadside or in church
Yeah.
and then give a sermon. But now we are finding innovative ways to spread the gospel across.
Yes,
and
yes.
one is just to wear a t-shirt.
Just wear a
protect.
t-shirt.
Yeah,
It's enough. You've done your bit.
Some just put it at the back, stickers at the
Of-
back
of their
phones
phones.
and all that.
You've done it.
I think
touched
it's
somebody.
beautiful.
Michael, your thoughts on the Black Stars and their preps? This is just initial stages, really. I'm sure it will get more intense. Let's say 21 players according to the GFA. Abigail was telling us 22. Thomas Partey joined. He didn't train. I'm sure training day one will be for Partey today because he arrived yesterday. But just thoughts on maybe the mix of players. I think we've touched on the mix of players, but just your thoughts on their initial the initial phase of training and how they are getting ready for these very important matches on Friday and Monday.
I think the technical team, the playing body, understand what is at stake. And I love how they have embraced this challenge with that kind of enthusiasm. Oftentimes when a camp is convened regarding the Black Stars, you see players not reporting for camp early. And it kind of affect how the team prepares because you want to have the core group available earlier so that you can take them through the various regimens or how you want to train them ahead of an assignment. And especially for a country like Ghana that failed to play or qualify for the African Cup of Nations, we need to milk the most out of opportunities like this. We need them.
The voice of sport.
We didn't have enough games under our belt, and so we cannot take some of these games for granted. So we need them as and when they come. And so I think the players have embraced that. The technical team is also well on hand. Yesterday I saw a funny post from someone, I think it was a comment, that the technical team could actually set up their own team and face the Black Stars in a training game. But it goes on to speak to the kind of commitment we've made towards making sure that the technical team lacks nothing in terms of personal resources so that they can plan something that will help us in terms of the FIFA World Cup when we go on to participate. About the players that have showed up for this assignment, I think the new ones, the last time we spoke about the Black Star squad, I made mention of Marvin Senaya.
Yes.
And why I think he deserves a shot. Because if you go through, and yes, I'm here, so I think we can do this now.
Yeah.
Statistically, he's one of the best rated players in the Auxerre team. And these are the reasons. He's a defender, right?
Yeah.
But even in the attacking metrics, he falls in the top 10. Auxerre is not your fanciful attacking side. They don't really attack with verve. They don't have enough numbers in terms of offensive metrics. But you find Marvin Senaya in almost every assessment. Talk of the Auxerre team, they are top 10. So he's in the top 10 for goals scored, but he's not scored a lot of goals.
Okay.
Their top scorer actually has scored 6 goals, and that is Lassina Sinayoko, the Malian,
Yes.
who came to the AFCON with the Yomo vibes. So he scored 6 goals. Marvin Senaya has produced 1. And then in terms of shot, he's in the top 10 as well. Shot on target, top 10. Shot conversion ratio, top 10. So he's definitely a player who ranks high. Even looking at the duties or his roles on the pitch, which are not primary roles. But for defending, he's in the top 5 or he's in the top 2. And that is where it gets all interesting.
Okay.
For tackles, he's in the top 3. He's made 46 tackles, and only 2 players have made more tackles than Marvin Senaya. 1, Owusu, and then 2, Danois. Then there is Marvin Senaya.
Okay.
He's even
All in the Auxerre team.
in the Auxerre team. He's even made
And
more
Owusu
tackles.
is Elisha.
Elisha Owusu,
Yeah.
yes.
He's even made more tackles than Gideon Mensah.
Well, okay.
So if you are looking at the Auxerre team, you can confidently tell yourself that in terms of tackles and then interceptions, you find 3 Ghanaian players in there. So if we are calling Elisha Owusu and we are calling Gideon Mensah, then definitely Marvin Senaya also deserves a shot. For interceptions, he's made 30. And of the 30 interceptions, he's in the top 2. Only Danois has made more interceptions than he has. Possession won is in the top 10. He's made 52. For blocks, Marvin Senaya is ranked 2nd in the Auxerre team. For clearances, he's ranked top 3. Ground duels, he's contested a total 126. He's in the top 10. Then for ground duels won, he's in the top 4. Aerial duels, he's in the top 4. He's the top player in the Auxerre team for aerial duels.
Okay.
So I think his defensive number speaks for itself. And if I am the coach of any national team and this player is eligible, I want to give him a shot, try him out and see how he fits into the setup and how they play. So I want to see some of these new players being integrated into the team in some of these assignments. It's a friendly game, just ease things off. But then again, don't deviate from the grand plan, what you want to implement or institute when the World Cup comes. So I expect to see the core of the team present.
Okay.
If you look at our Black Star setup, we don't really have a settled lineup, sort of. Yesterday, we were having that conversation. Myself, Kelvin, Felix Romac, and then Blackgate. The conversation bordered on, should we build the Black Stars team or attack, per se, on Antoine Semenyo? And I so much love the point made by Felix Romac. We don't have a core yet.
Yeah.
It is very different from in previous times, where you were rest assured that when the Black Stars were convened and they were going to select a starting team, there was a core group you expected to feature.
Okay.
1, goalkeeper Richard Kingston. Then in the defense, you were always rest assured that you will find John Mensah in there if he's fit. Then maybe one player will be paired with him, depending on the year and the form of their respective defenders. At the laterals, there was John Pencil.
Yeah.
And then Adokwe Papu.
Uh-huh.
Even when they had left, Lee Addy, and then also to an extent, there was still John Pencil.
Hansedu Sape.
Now Hansedu Sape. Then it came to the turn of Harrison Affo.
Yes.
And then Samuel Linkum.
Yeah.
So you were always finding players who had enjoyed consistent minutes or appearances in the Black Stars defensive lineup. So there was that level. So you could form a core around them. In the middle, Asian, you find Stephen Appiah, Muntari. When Appiah was waning in terms of his strength and then his fitness levels, then we had players like 1, Anthony Annan, 2, Derek Boateng.
Yeah.
But you will definitely find a constant in there, Michael Essien, if he's available. If he's not, Anthony Annan also became a mainstay and he was being paired with other players around him. In attack, Asamoah Gyan. But now the times have changed. We don't have consistent appearance makers for the Black Stars for various reasons. We've not really had a very consistent project. This coach starts it, and then eventually the journey is truncated, and a different coach comes in. So the players have not enjoyed that period of stability to build among themselves, bond, and understand each other. Otuado looks like he's entering into that phase.
Okay.
On returning, I think he's not even lasted 3 years, but he's building because he came after the disastrous AFCON campaign in Ivory Coast. So he's trying to build. Then, can we have players featuring consistently? That has been the issue. Goalkeeping department. We have tried Atizigi. Then there is Benjamin Asare now. In between, Abdul Manaf, Joseph Anan have been thrown into the mix.
And even before, it was Wallacott.
Yeah, sure.
So there was Wallacott who was there, and then Atizigi edged him out, and now there's Ben Asare.
So now it looks like, generally we are agreeing we need to settle on Benjamin Asare. Then let's give him more minutes, build him up, make sure that he actually grasps the national team #1 spot and makes it his own. And he will be able to enjoy that if he plays beyond 10 games. How many games has Asare played in the Black Stars?
Let's see. Got a run of games in the qualifiers, then the friendly. Well, yeah, I don't think he's had up to 10 games. I don't think so.
And is it not surprising?
Well, it is.
He's our #1.
Yeah, but he hasn't had
trust him, but he's not had 10 competitive games under his belt.
Okay,
and you see, the situation is not even that he's like the Ronwen Williams playing in the CAF Champions League or CAF competitions where you know
has
you
that
see
exposure.
exactly that level. No, so he's the Ghana Premier League and once in the Black Stars. And
okay, we talk about consistency, guys. Let me ask you this: should we keep a core, because you're trying to build the core? Should you keep a consistent call up, irrespective of a player's form? So do you sacrifice a player's form at the expense of building consistency in the national team?
yes, both ways. Both ways. Both ways.
Okay.
There are some.
How do you marry the two? So for example, your star forward, right? Let's say
Jordan.
Let's say Jordan
You're struggling to get
Jordan.
minutes.
Are you struggling to get
Very
minutes
good.
for Leicester?
Okay,
But at the same time, you want to build.
He's your most important figure in the last couple of games you've played, and the captain of the team. And when he comes to the Black Stars, he delivers. He gives his best.
Okay.
You know, and he even plays better. His goal returns are better than at club level.
Yes.
And he has experience with that sort of player.
You don't qualify it invaluable experience.
Exactly. You don't leave him out. But a player like Kamaldeen, not to get at him, not to go at him, but what does he offer? Sincerely, we've seen time and time again players come in and then they leave their team.
Yeah.
But how is it that consistently he's being given that opportunity to always prove a point, always proving a point? For how long now? Since AFCON 2021, that was played in 2022 in Cameroon. He's in part and parcel of this team.
Yes.
But can you give me a game you will say Kamaldeen virtually took the entire team on his shoulders and the team rode along? But consistently he's been given the numbers until recently. Our last qualifiers when he managed to get a goal. It was nothing. So with that sort of player, you leave him out.
Okay.
And then you bring in newbies who are currently on form. Try them. Test their temperament, their ability to play for the national team. So I think the two might, someone like Jiku, if Jiku is struggling for minutes, you don't
At
drop
club
him.
level.
You don't
You
drop
still bring him.
Thank you. Partey, you don't drop Partey.
Okay, so are we saying that
Kwesi Sebo may be fresh, but when he came in the last couple of games, he's giving you that indication that he understands what Partey wants in his partner as a midfielder.
Yeah.
So with that player, what do? You still keep him in there.
even though he may be struggling for
Exactly.
minutes at games,
You still keep him in
so
there.
you sacrifice probably club form for
The invaluable experience Michael is talking
and then
about,
you
or
build
even
the
the experience
consistency.
and the returns he gives you, and how the person or the player understands the philosophy and ideology of the coach.
Okay,
You get it.
I think national team football is unique in its own way. There have been times where people have tried to push a player into a national setup. It's not just even a Ghanaian thing. And a coach has objected to it because he has a certain pattern. He's built a certain level of chemistry with a select group of players, and he doesn't want to break it. I quite remember when Stefan Kiesling was on a very good scoring run with Bayer Leverkusen. There were a lot of calls that Joachim Löw should offer him an opportunity to feature.
Yes.
At that time, I think Miroslav Klose had left Bayern. And then Thomas Müller was just also coming up. But what Joachim Löw did was he stuck with Klose, he stuck with Müller, and he said, no, yes, Kisling is scoring, but in the national team, he is not accustomed to how I want to play. So even if I will call him, he will not start, he will not play. And it truly, Kisling did not enjoy consistent minutes. It was still the Klose and then the Thomas Müller. What eventually happened was that Germany built on that. And then they came to the 2014 World Cup and won it. There are several examples to cite in this contest. There have been times where Wilfred Bony of Ivory Coast, he wasn't enjoying consistent when he joined Manchester City. He was mostly on the periphery. And people were like, oh, so who will start for the Ivorian attack? He was still fronting it. And he played a crucial role at a point in time. I think in 2015, I stand to be corrected, he was one of their men they could fall on for experience.
He was with the team when they
national
won the AFCON.
team setups are mostly built based on consistency or familiarity. Chemistry, I think, is the right word to use. Coaches form certain relationships with players, and since they don't get enough time to train,
they'd rather go with the safe option.
Exactly the point. And then it also
exactly what Didier Deschamps has been accused of doing for years.
and you see, the interesting part is it depends on the player and his status in the team. For someone like Francis Abu, I don't think he's really proven himself at the national level. So if his club form has taken a hit or has nosedived, then you can look at it and say, oh, he's been invited before, should we still call him? No, I think based on his pedigree or his status in the team, you can exchange him for a player who is on top form. But there are certain figures in the team who are indispensable, especially for this Black Stars team.
Do we have such figures?
Yes, I think Jiku. There is no center back in the Black Stars now who would give you that kind of assurance, consistency, will guarantee a certain level of commitment than Jiku does. When he dons the national jersey, we know what he gives on the pitch, off the pitch. His leadership, again on the pitch, it plays a very crucial role. No other center back has grown to become that kind of leader at the back. So without Jiku, we miss out on his playing, and then what he also offers the team when he's not playing. That is when he has the ball at his feet, and then when he's not in possession, how he organizes the team. He's a leader, he commands. In the middle, Thomas Partey, for instance, I think he's our most important player. Yes, as it stands now, there is not a single Blaster player who brings that kind of balance that we need, making sure that defensively there is some kind of help if he needs to control the game, set the tempo, to the extent that there is not enough pressure exerted on the team. When we need to also coordinate things from the middle and then work out to the offensive area, Partey plays a crucial role. He's like Akwekwana, weaving things, making sure that he connects very well the team from the defensive area to the attacking area. If we miss him, it is so telling.
It's true.
We don't have.
He's a unique. We don't have
his profile. Is so very rare in these Black Stars. Even Arsenal are still struggling, minus Thomas Partey. So you can't say, oh, Partey is not playing for BRL. He's been on the periphery. He's not being used consistently. His coach at BRL, Marcelino, is complaining. So let's bench Partey. It is a no-no. Jordan Ayew, he has invaluable experience. No single player in the team now has played a lot of tournaments in the Black Stars than Jordan. And Jordan has been in the Black Stars, I think, circa 2013.
2013?
When did they decide not to play at the AFCON and then decided to also withdraw from the national team because one was called and another wasn't? And they said they won't play for the team again, and they had to take the intervention of a then president, John Dramani Mahama, to convince them to return. I think it was 2013.
20, let me see if I remember correctly.
One of 2012, 2013.
No, 2012, Jordan played. 2012, Jordan played.
So I think it's 2013.
2013 was 2013.
2013.
Which the South Africa tournament. Because I know in the build up or after that Andre wasn't called for some game and Jordan didn't. The famous series picture where Jordan was lying on this bed drinking series or something. Funny picture.
Kawawa's
favorite picture. Right?
So
yeah,
I think from that time till now, how many tournaments are we talking about?
This
2
is
World Cup
Sporty
appearances,
FM,
a
the
lot
voice
of
of
AFCON
sport.
tournaments, and so we can't just do away with what he brings to the party.
Yeah.
How he's able to bring the young ones towards him, make them understand the task ahead. So if you are not using Jordan, it means you are missing out on a lot. Yes, we can count on the exuberance of the likes of Fatah Dawda, Fatah Ishaku, sorry, the form of Antoine Semenyo, but none can match what Jordan will offer you in terms of experience and even on the pitch contribution. So I think with these players, the discussion to bench them or not should even not be started. We should rather focus on how we can tap into the experience and then bring the best out of them so that it will ooze or it will rub off on the other players and then they can deliver. That is what we are looking at. So yes, there are times where you count on the experience of players in the national team and then you need them for such purposes, irrespective of their club form.
Well, the Black Stars are playing on Friday. They take on Austria first at the Ernst Happel Stadium in Vienna, and then they play against Germany. And then they play against Germany on Monday. They play against Germany on Monday. There's a particular message here. I knew that once we are having a conversation on experience and its value, I knew that this question will come up. Where's Ayamga? Can you please scroll? I knew that would get here. No, not this one. The Ayamga. So it says,
Sporty
so what Asari is saying, then the day Ayu should be recalled to the Blacks. I knew somebody would take us there. Time check is 8:46. Michael Asari is here. Calvin Owusu says, we've been joined by Owusu Bempa Ayala. Ayala, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
Wonderful. It's nice to finally see you in the flesh. I usually watch him on YouTube. He and Fifi going at it with Richard.
You see, the famous phrase is rich.
It's nice to see. We are talking about, I was taking initial comments from the guys on the Black Stars team, right, in Austria, just looking at the number in camp. Michael has been talking about the composition. I was asking him, when do we marry form and experience versus, coaches having their familiarity with players? I hope you get what I'm saying. So some coaches say, oh, I like this guy. I don't care if he's not playing. I still think he's good enough to play because he understands me. I understand him. He's good enough for what we want to do. Some people argue and say, pick players on form. Pick that. Pick the one who's scoring, the one who's playing, and forget this guy who's getting 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and may know the player system. What's your take on that? How do we marry the two in terms of a national team? Because the national team is very unique. It's not like club football.
Interestingly, the idea of what profile of a player a coach is looking for in the national team sometimes do not really bother on form or whether the player is actively playing, whether the player is cut for the job presently. And I am always guided by the story of the coming back of Otto.
Okay.
The state of the Black Stars when he came. And I always have this picture vividly when Harry Asante was sitting beside Otto doing this unveiling. And the communication that came with it. I sincerely believe Otto came in at a state where we wanted to rebuild.
Okay. This was what, 2022? Okay.
No, I'm talking about his second coming.
Second coming, okay. This was after Houghton. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The communication was so precise.
After Richard Ofori
Exactly.
After Ofori touched me.
So the communication was, look, we've had a Black Stars that has declined so deep. We've lost our elite level national team on the continent.
Yeah.
We've sunk so deep that the team has lost confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
You could clearly see the mentality is gone. We are jittery against Comoros. We can't even stand up to countries we were beating with even French players in the past. So we need to bring someone in and rebuild.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, one of the biggest problems that we had was the criteria for the appointment of Otto and Otto's appointment itself. The FA got it wrong because the criteria and the man were so indifferent, and the communication that came with his appointment also then gave people the room to say, oh, then the criteria was wrong. But we've gone past that. We saw somewhere around 2014 when Roy Hodgson has started his new England team, and in 2016 France Heroes, he assembled the youngest English team, and he was asked, you are dropping some key players. He said, no, we are at that time, we need to rebuild. Forget about the old people, let's rebuild. Spain at a point also did same.
Yeah.
When the likes of Ike Muniain, Thiago Alcantara were coming, they said, look, we've had this coach that has been with these guys for the under 20 and under 23. So let's
De La Fuente.
let's give him the appointment with them. He's their man. He knows them from the youth team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, we do not have a football culture that can simply make those decisions. That, look, we are in the zone where the Ibrahim Tanko under 23 mature team is now ready to transition into the Blasters.
Yeah.
And to forget about the Dede Ayus and the rest of the old generation. We think these are the current core players of the national team.
Yeah.
And this is the coach that has known them at that youth level.
Yeah.
Not just about the coach, but we've also missed opportunities to play in major tournaments at the youth side.
Yeah.
So we don't have any national team to progress. Just as we did in 2019 with Dede Ayew and Ajima Bedu.
2009.
2009, rather. Because we had a team that has won. So we could clearly say, this is the team. Let's progress it. So Milo was fortunate, but Otto is not. So he has come in to build, but without any resources. He needs to now go and fish. So I understand the struggles and the difficulties, and you could clearly see he's struggling.
Yeah.
He calls this player, he tests him and says, no, he's not good enough.
He tried the next one.
So I understand the space that they are in. So I don't really come in with a rigid expectation of who is informed, who is not informed. I am looking at how do the technical team get it right.
Okay.
With the right ages of the players, how they will be bold enough to introduce new players, and whether we, the citizens, and even those of us in the sports media, will give them the room to use major competitions to introduce the new face of the Blasters.
Interesting point. So are you saying that we are at a place where, unfortunately, we will have to go and do trial and error at a competition?
Yes.
Even a competition as big as the World Cup.
Yes.
We will have to go and do trial and error.
Because I've given you an example. Roy Hodgson did it with Heroes in 2016. He did. He was bold. Look, we are not more vociferous than the English media. And they were at him. But he was very, very persistent and said, look, we don't only build teams with friendlies and those stuff. We can build teams with tournament too.
Yeah.
And I can boldly say that the hurricane we see today was built out of that moment of a decision. And we need to do same.
Okay.
We really need to do same. It pained me that we couldn't make it to the AFCON. That would have been the first phase of the rebuilding.
Yeah.
Then by now we would have assimilated ourselves with what Otto is really trying to do.
Yeah.
Then we will build on it for the World Cup.
Yeah.
But we should give him that room. To be very, very honest, where he is not a very, very good place, and we can't pile the pressure on him and be giving him a lot of strict opinions on pick this one, let this one go. We need to understand where he is, the kind of players that he wants to pick, the ages of the players, and how long he can be within the project with them.
Okay.
So I am looking at this World Cup, the next AFCON, probably the next AFCON again, and the next World Cup, like 4 tournaments.
4 tournaments.
Then, even if it's not him, Otto, at the helms of affairs, Nathan, we will all come back to this studio and say, look, what was started with Otto, we now have a national team that has been together, that saw that elite mentality coming back gradually. We've built a cohesive team that were young under Otto during the 2026 World Cup, and now we can clearly see that this is a very, very formidable team. So for me, that is basically it.
So interesting point there about using tournaments to rebuild. And Ayala makes a point, and I think it's a very crucial point. The constant missing out on the Olympic Games is worrying. We may not think, we think it's nothing.
No.
But it has a huge effect on how you move players on.
We'll feel it.
You know, because we'll play under 17, under 20. And then there's this big gap between under 20 and the national team. There's no in between. And we don't make the Olympic Games. Look at Spain. The Spain team that won the gold medal in Paris.
Yeah.
Players like Fermin and others. They are,
Fermin
Fermin Lopez, they are very ready for the step up. Look at some of the French players in that competition. Some of them, Olise, some of them are ready now to attempt playing big time football. So we need to think long and hard about this as a country. This constant missing out on the Olympic Games and what it does to our young players. And we have this habit of, if a team doesn't qualify, we are quick to throw them.
Exactly.
You know, because we've missed out a lot of good players because they didn't make some under 17 AFCON or under 17 World Cup.
Examples. It is not primarily tied to the Olympic Games, even for our age.
Yes, if you don't make U17 or U20.
Exactly, because I remember the core of the Black Stars team that played at the 2006 World Cup were part of the 2001 U20,
yes,
or to an extent 1999 U20. You could select them from such under 17, under 20, and they had progressed to a certain stage. Now the exposure helped them. For players like Steven Appiah, such exposure helped them to build their careers eventually. They earned moves to foreign clubs in Italy. Then they developed from there. Now, I don't think it is the case. We are not getting a lot of our age national teams playing top U20 World Cup. We are not qualifying. U17 World Cup, we are not being there. So our players, the best they can get in terms of exposure with the age limit national teams is the Waffles and then the Cavs. And I think it also does not help.
Exactly.
Because they will come from these stages and then eventually progress or graduate to the U23s that we are talking about.
Exactly. And do you know that is why when we are having conversations about collapse, when you don't understand these basics in comparison with the elite national teams across the world like England, Germany, France, Spain, Brazil, it's easy for any coach to work with their technical directorate and make call-ups because the data is there. They are always present in under 17 and the data is always
and
available.
they are always monitoring.
Exactly.
You know.
Now I remember the revised English football DNA. They made a certain point that look, they think the reason why they are not really performing at the highest level like the Germans were that they realized at the senior national team level, during competitions, whenever they meet the Germans and the Spanish, when they compare their data, they could clearly see that the Germans, even though they may have some special talents at the youth age, they will maintain them at the youth age, make them go play under 17 World Cup, under 19 Euros before
Under
they progress
World
them.
Cup,
So by the time they wear the national team, senior national team jersey, these are players who knows what it takes to play national team football.
I read, what did I read? I was reading it somewhere and they were talking about the Dutch. I think I was reading a book somewhere and I think that same point was made. I think was it Rio Ferdinand? He made that point talking about the fact that he noticed that England did not play a lot of the age-restricted competition.
They were not playing
So
at
the
all.
first time a player experiences national team football is in his 20s, playing for the Three Lions, and the pressure, he can't cope.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, he looks at Iron Robin. Iron Robin played the 2001 under 20, probably played under 16, under 17, whatever. So he's not, of course, this is elite level, but the dynamic of a tournament is not new to him.
Exactly.
He knows how to behave in a tournament. He knows how to handle himself psychologically, even in a tournament. So
you see, Lamine Yamal scored a goal against France.
yeah, in the Euros.
And then all of a sudden videos pop up. Oh, he has been doing it at the under 17 level to France. So when he's meeting France in a national team, this is something he's so used to. So the pressure does not come on him like he's novice to. So we do not have that very, very good environment. So it makes the job very, very difficult. For me, that is why there seems to be always confusion about call-ups and I prefer this player, I prefer that player. And so they are in a very, very difficult situation. The coaches, they are in a very, very difficult situation. So we should understand them. I really wish that we formalize the national team call-ups with an interview.
Yes, true.
So that we will be able to get Otto to explain to us what he's really doing. Because for me, even the English media that were opposed to Roy Hodgson, after listening to him, gave him that opportunity and said, okay, if this is your communication, then we go with it and we will assess you by that. And today we all can attest to it. Look, they're like, England are not so fortunate. Do you know they wished that by this time, players like Phil Foden would have grown into a world beater, unplayable. And they would have referred to you to the under 17 World Cup they won. And they said, look at the players and their trajectory. And now they need to be bossing the national team. Unfortunately for them, probably they've not gotten it right and as cruisy as they.
A lot of the players from that tournament have fallen by the wayside. Ryan Brewster, a lot of them.
Oh, where is he?
Somewhere in the lower league. I think Keenan Drisbury Hall played in that competition. Foden played. Sancho up until the quarters, then he left for Dortmund. Maguire, he played in that competition. So you have a
At
few.
least they are getting
some of them.
So you
So-
see, Nathan, just what Ayala was saying. Not far-fetched, our neighbors, Cote d'Ivoire. It was just about 2-3 years ago. Jan Diomande was playing.
Yeah, was it
and
not
the kid
Sicho who posted a picture of him and Yann
Exactly.
Diomande? Yeah.
Now he's bossing it outside and bossing it for the Ivorian national team.
Senegal.
Senegal.
see-
Lamine Camara
yes.
and
Yeah. All of them
You see,
played.
And I think Senegal's own started with the 2012 Olympics.
Yes.
From there.
Yes, true. Because
Because
Sadio
Sadio
Mane
Mane-
played in that Olympic Games. I remember.
And that
correctly.
is why we must put all our efforts together to make sure that the yearly or the annual under 17 tournament that is being played, we must qualify
Definitely be
every
there.
single one of them.
yes.
Because in that environment, trust you me, I met the Zambian team with Coach Faisal Chips and after their first game, the players were now okay, and in their second game, third game,
They settled.
come on.
Because the nerves were out.
Yeah.
The
That was when they
shock
showed
factor is
they showed
gone.
Brazil that yes,
Yeah.
we are better than you.
And that is where they build their rapport.
Exactly.
So the 2001 squad that we took to that tournament, under 20, Giorgio, Michael Essien, Sule Muntari, John Pencil, Razak Pimpon.
John Mensah.
That was John Mens. Thank you very
Derek
much.
Boateng.
So if they all progress into the senior national team, they have that, and nobody understood why the likes of Muntari, Apia, and they could relate that much because they had met in previous youth tournaments.
And
they knew
the
themselves.
so it's sometimes in football games, sometimes you play off the fly. You play off the top of your head because of chemistry. But if you notice, our national team is suffering, and Ayala makes up. We are suffering because there's not enough chemistry in the team. Kudus is probably the only person, and correct me if I'm wrong, from the team we took to India. I think Kudus is the only player from that team
Presently,
who's in
Presently,
this
he's the
squad.
only one.
And that's it.
And it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. We should have,
So
we
when
should have
they-
different generations.
So when
of-
they all gather, you can find individually they are very talented players. They have potential, but they can't relate very well. Chemistry, and you need consistency to do that.
I guess that's where the balance comes in, right? That's where coaches will have to marry chemistry of player. Okay, the chemistry amongst players.
Yeah.
But chemistry between coach and player, as against this guy is informed, but he's very new to what we are doing.
Exactly.
So you might not pick him because he's doing well, but he doesn't know what we are doing. And it will take time for him to learn.
Yes.
So you rather go with the safe choice. let me pick the ones I know, hoping that chemistry will work.
And there's one thing I've realized about Otto. We can clearly observe that he's only two formation with his blasters. It's either his 4-2-3-1 or the 3-5. Solid. So whenever he picks a team, I try to make two formations out of the team. Then look at which players will fix. And whenever he's playing high-level games, like the game against Austria and Germany, you know he's likely to tilt to the three-back system.
Of course.
Because he for him, that gives him more defensive consolidation and all that. So I wasn't surprised that if you look at the list, there seems to be too many defenders in the list.
Let me see if I can find that squad, and then we'll go through it.
You could clearly see there are too many defenders in that list. Now, I was fortunate to be with a team in Japan and South Korea. And you could clearly see that there are some little things that Otto and his technical team are looking for. Number one, we've grown past the choice of a number one goalkeeper. Benjamin Asare is our number one goalkeeper.
You think that decision is locked?
And I'll tell you why. When we went to Japan, I arrived with the same van with Benjamin Asare.
Okay.
And it was late because they had trained 2 or 3 days before. So it was clear that, he came in late, so he wasn't going to be the goalkeeper for the Japan game. Then we moved from narrator to South Korea. When we went there, the weather was so different. It was very, very cold in South Korea when you compare it to Japan. So I remember doing our training sessions, and it is very, very privileged information. Some of the Blasters Management Committee were wondering if in that cold weather, especially we are going to play that game in the evening. And so it can be cold throughout the day, but in the evenings it's quite special. So I remember 1 or 2 of the Blasters Management Committee passing a comment in a Benjamin Asare. He said they need exposure on that go abochida. So they picked up a conversation that they were going to engage Otto and the technical team to see whether they are so clear in their minds that Benjamin Asare will keep post in the South Korea game because of the weather conditions and he's not exposed to that platform and all that. Look, Otto told them that, look, he is my number one goalkeeper and I am preparing him for the World Cup. If I don't give him this opportunity, when again, I will give him the opportunity. And he did so well in the South Korean game. That was the day I knew from hindsight and from first-hand information that, look, they have decided Benjamin Asare is our number one. Now, when it comes to the three-back system, I think whenever Jiku is in our team, Jiku is the leader of that three-back. We are unfortunate not to have Salisu. Salisu is his partner in crime. Then we are always looking for one other player,
a right-sided
in that three-back, who is a right-footed, who can pass and can defend well and listens to instructions in the organizational structure. So if Jiku shouts on you, come back, go, that person is right in his frame. Now, it was growing to be Jonah Ajete. That spot. But he moved to Wolfsburg and I know that Otto is a huge fan of Patrick Pfeiffer. Huge.
Pfeiffer has been around the team for what? His nationality switch was done in 2022. He's been around for 4 years.
And it was Otto who convinced him to switch and come. So I am looking at, in the absence of Salisu and with Jonah Ajete not really making it actively with his club football, these two friendlies will offer Otto the opportunity to watch the other players and make a stern decision. Because I have heard you guys discuss the other time that look, after these two friendlies, you only have Wales and Mexico.
Yeah. Mexico is outside the international window, so you can't really work with that.
So it's left with the Wales one.
And even that's on the 2nd of June.
Exactly.
A day after you
so
name your
close
squad.
to the World Cup that I don't think at that time Otto will still be tinkering with who to play and who not to play. We must be very, very definite during that time with what the Blaster squad is going to be, who are going to partner in sensitive positions. So
do you think that these two friendlies are like the cut-off points for some players?
The final trial. That is what I call it. The final trial.
If you don't pass this, you are not good.
You will not be part of the team, except those who have been part of the team for a very, very long time, but because of injury and some other circumstances, they will not be around. Now, there is a very, very critical decision to be made in midfield, and I will tell you why. Yesterday, I was listening to The Drive on this show, and there was I'm not so familiar with the guy, but Blackgate. Blackgate.
Shout out to Fancy Di Maria. Yes. Fancy Di Maria was the special host,
and he was wonderful guy. He was making a point about how Zibo frees Partey to play, and Kevin said he agrees with him. But I can tell you, Kevin, that the Blasters technical team have one problem with Zibo, and I think if that problem, and that problem too is a characteristic problem. It's among his traits. If he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. He just can't generate it. And it's about, yes, you can win the balls, but for a German philosopher, you need to have that bit of quality transitions with you. So you just don't win the ball, but after winning it and deliver a perfect pass that swings us into offensive turnovers. Like
Sporty FM.
Kwesi don't have that. And they fancy Calibri, probably because of his academy traits and the Norgeland style of play. And you know, Otto has worked with the Norgeland, so he knows how they train their midfielders. They think Yenchi has that.
So the ability to win the ball.
Yes.
But the pass that sets the team going.
Exactly. You know, it shouldn't be that.
It's not a safe pass. They don't want a safe pass.
No. You should have the yes. If it's safe to play it. Yeah. But if you can be a little bit daring, so that it catches the opponent off guard, off shape. Because once they are attacking you, especially the lateral defenders probably may have moved.
They are out of position.
Exactly. So
the play breaks down. They are vulnerable.
You get it. So the turnovers must come from a player with that special attribute to really take advantage of that transition. And Zibo seemed not to be giving us that. So I suspect at the World Cup, if they decide
this is
that now we are that is the reason why they want to bring in a right back or a right wing back, so that they can comfortably move Calibri into middle. Then the only time probably we will see Zibo is we are fortunate to go in 2-1 in the second half around the 60th minute against Croatia. You want to lock the team.
Then you bring
Zibo, you add Calib, you add Partey. That midfield will give you solid balance. Someone who doesn't even cross the center line in Zibo, and someone who is doing the box to box with Partey, who can cool down the tempo for you to say, look, let's calm down. We are leading. What Stephen Appiah was doing during his days at 2006 World Cup, that kind of play. So we may not get Kwesi Zibo in a two-man midfield with Thomas Partey if he doesn't improve on that, and which I doubt he can improve on that within this short space. So that is also another combination that we are looking at. Now the last thing is,
you talk about that, just to take you back, right? It reminds me of how undervalued Efri Akwa was. And Efri Akwa used to have this thing where when he played, Partey enjoyed himself so much because Efri Akwa would lock the entire midfield down and allow Partey to
just operate.
I said that Partey's most explosive performance for the Black Stars was in Brazzaville, where he had Efri Akwa playing behind him and he was unleashed to score.
When you mentioned Efri Akwa, I think Otto would have relished he coached the Blasters in the days of Antonianan. because
Gives you everything.
that is the player he's looking for.
Yeah.
So
A player who could do everything.
yes, the simple things,
Yeah.
win the ball and set us straight into attack with your simple passes. When it has to be daring, you need to give that. Now, in that conversation, we shouldn't miss players like Ibrahim Suleimana,
Okay.
because he's also one guy who could easily give us that.
Yeah.
He could easily give us that if he's being coached well, if he himself is ready to learn and probably change gears. And this is top level football. Sometimes what you have is okay, but you should be available to upgrade
Of course.
it in a certain
Of course.
way to have your way
Of
in the
course.
team.
You see, because this world, you are going to play against a Croatian midfield that can cause all kinds of problems. You are going to play against an England midfield with different types of elements. Jude Bellingham with his physique,
Elliot Anderson.
Elliot Anderson with the control, Declan Rice to give them a heartbeat. So you need to have something. You need to throw things at them.
Exactly,
you know?
and the dynamism of how you can tweak things in your midfield comes with the traits of these
Yeah,
players
that's true.
and how they are up for the game.
Yeah.
There are some games you may even least expect you'll be part of the game, but during the planning, they say, look, we need a player of this quality to do this job
Yeah.
on this player. You are the one for it. Are you up for it? You need to go and do it. So the dynamism of our midfield brings all these players into the picture, and they must be up for it. And I'm happy we have them in camp, so that whatever we want to try against Croatia, against England, we will have the opportunity to try it against Austria and Germany. Now to the final third. When we play our
The problem area, I think the Black Stars' biggest problem now,
yes,
the attack.
yes, and it is because for my observation, I think Otto is not yet done with the profiling of the players in those positions.
Really? You don't think he's done?
This
Okay,
is Sporty
that is
FM,
why
the voice of
he
sport.
keeps changing. It's like I am looking for something, and I need to get it right. Now, yesterday in the evening, when I come to Accra, I listen to this platform very well. So yesterday in the evening, I heard my junior brother Samuel talk about Christopher Barbonsu and how impactful he can be for us at the World Cup. Yes. Look, for me, the psyche of a typical Ghanaian player is sometimes their bane. And in the national team, let's use the current England situation as an example.
Yeah.
Why do you think Thomas Tuchel will face the media and he's so clear in his mind that yes, your favorite may be
Sporty
Jude,
FM.
but I am looking for something that I'm not finding in him, even though he's playing for Real Madrid, and that you should give me the room to operate and play the likes of this Aston Villa player. What is his name? Rogers as my number 10. He gives me what I want. Now, imagine if the same English team was a Ghanaian team. Do you think any player would have put himself in the Rogers situation and say, I am up for it, coach.
No
bench Jude Bellingham and play me?
No way. A lot of Ghanaian players will shy away
Exactly, and say,
you know what?
Oh, Jude is
No,
there.
Jude should play.
I will be his backup. That mentality must stop. And that is where players like Christopher Bonsuba free themselves
Sporty
and say,
FM.
look, I am up with these players. I am up for the competition. Give me the chance, and I'll prove to you that you don't have to go with the usual Kudus, Isahaku. I am also there. You give me the chance, and I'll prove to you. We need to have that kind of mentality in our team, because for me, in every thriving national team, not even just national team, in every thriving team, even within the media sector, you need some level of competition to get the best out of all of us. And that should be the mentality within the team. So I am telling the Black Star players, look, Otto is still looking for the right combinations, whether it's 4-2-3-1 or 3-5-2. He's still looking for the right combinations.
And somebody should see it as an opportunity.
Exactly.
Especially Calvin's friend.
Come out in.
Put yourself up. Whether it's the 2 inside number 10s behind the striker, whether it's the 3 offensive striker, midfielders behind the striker. Look, let what you can offer the team be known. Give the coach the headache to say, I am so used to Fatawu Issahaku and Kudus, but with what you are giving me, I am tempted to throw you in. And I'm telling you, people probably don't know that side of Otto. He is that tough, and he can make the bold decisions. If you prove to him that you will give him what he wants, and it's not just about Otto, it's about everyone. You, Nathan, when someone proves to you that you can trust, he will get the job done for you.
You give
because
them
you want results. You say, okay, then do it for me, so that we all win together.
That's
so that is the kind of national team every Ghanaian will want to see. A national team that doesn't belong to any player. It belongs to all of the players who are ready to fight, show commitment, and show that they have something different and something that can improve the team that we've seen during the qualifier. So that for me will be my general perspective on this.
Interesting. Let me just go through the squad once again. Kelvin, I don't know whether you have a point to make.
No, I think you see, and I'm sad Otto is struggling with the injuries to his players. You know, yesterday when we were having a discussion, I was talking about how he was close to getting how he wants to play with his forwards. When he plays the 2 number 10s, Nyama and Kudus. Just after AFCON failure, the next game that we played, Nyama and Kudus gave him that perfect football that he wanted to play. So I think after the game,
it could come down to the familiarity amongst the two players, because they are all, and you see the capability, right to dream, same understanding,
and the capability of Nyama and Kudus to understand what the coach actually wants. When you're a coach and your players quickly get what you want, it's easy to work with them.
Of course.
It's the reason why many people will think Didier Deschamps was so loyal to Griezmann.
It's because Griezmann understood
exactly whether he's playing as a number 10 or playing deep.
Even Giroud.
Yeah.
So you could see that he was so happy with that game. But just when the World Cup is approaching, Kudus now has next month to come and then start, get to that game fitness. Nyama is still struggling.
He's struggling to get back.
Now he has Antoine Semenyo. Jordan isn't playing as much. Issahaku, fine. But does Issahaku give him the same thing Nyama would offer? No. So that means he would have. You see, so
Otto has been forced into making certain decisions.
I feel for him with what he's facing at this point in time. But I think that this grants him the perfect opportunity to build up a strategy, a game plan that will suit the current players that he has now, providing if there are no additions or 1 or 2 additions he would expect in the next 2 months or 3 months for the World Cup. He has to, someone will say, a workable solution with the materials he has now. That. And hopefully he finds that. That is why I'm so happy we are playing against 2 of the very technical, tactical coaches in the world and teams in the world.
Sure.
At least they will force you to bring out elements that your players haven't seen, and then it will give you an opportunity to rethink and then teach again.
Well, in terms of the Black Stars squad, let me just mention this for people who want to spend their day thinking about the combinations Otto should try. Goalkeepers, Lawrence Atizigi, Benjamin Asari Joseph, and defenders Patrick Pfeiffer, Derek Lucasen, who I went to have a look at his yellow card numbers. Charlie, some of the numbers are quite staggering. 67 yellows already. Derek Atakon, Jerome Opoku, Caleb Irenchi, Kojo Pompe, Jonas Ajete, Marvin Senaya, Alex Jiku, and Gideon Mensah. The midfielders, Thomas Partey, Elisha Osi, Ibrahim Suleiman, and Kwesi Sibo. The forwards, Brandon Thomas Asante, Jordan Ayew, Prince Kwabnedu, Christopher Bosuba, Abdul Fattah Issahaku, Iñaki Williams, Antoine Semenyo, Kamaldeen Sulemana, and Daniel Ejay. 9:23. You can send in your comments on 054-257-1061. As the week goes on, we'll start to talk about, what we should take away from the friendlies. I'm here with Kelvin Owusu-Ansah, Osu Bempa Ayala, and Michael Asai-Bredu. 3 people I enjoy talking to football with. I Father, it's my first time having like a conversation with Ayala, but I enjoy listening to him and watching him on YouTube.
Rich.
Oh man. Anyway, guys, let's move away from the hardcore football. Let's talk a bit about last Friday's event, the fundraiser. I've had so many people ask me very different questions concerning the fundraiser, but anyway, let's just go through and I'll take thoughts from the guy. So in terms of like
the voice of sports.
the dollar donations, right? So the fundraiser was done at the Kempinski Hotel. The president of the republic was there. You had some other members of the footballing space, the GFA and others were there as well. So in terms of the donation, so you had engineers and planners. They dropped the biggest amount on the table. They pledged $5 million. Christian Salamoni Game Technology dropped $2 million, or they pledged $2 million. Jewel Energy, they pledged $1 million. I don't know whether, okay, if it is Jewel Energy, the people I know, they are the people behind JP and Co. The anonymous donor dropped or pledged $1 million. Shatawale SM, he pledged $100,000. Alaji Musa's Timeline and Innovation pledged $300,000. P&A African Food International pledged $15,000. Goldfields Ghana pledged $2 million. Okay, so I'm told they pledged $1 million. I don't know whether they
donated $2 million and pledged $1 million more.
Okay, so they donated $2 and then they pledged $1 million more. Okay, Stoneboy pledged $81,000 with a $20,000 campaign song.
So he says he's done 101K.
101.
Yes.
Reminds me of
The campaign song is what? How much?
20K.
20,000.
$20K dollar.
Yeah. Reminds me of when Arsenal went to bid for Luis Suarez.
As a Wenger,
And the dollar, he added £1 pound.
Yeah,
he added
£1
£1 on top of the bid. Brilliant stuff there. Okay, so that's that. The CD donations, KGL 10 million CDs, Icon Energy 1 million CDs. Apostle Kind Spare Parts 500,000 CDs. Am I surprised? No. A lot of people don't know. The special people, they get money pass.
Yeah.
Irata Motors $200,000. Nana Ajoba 150,000. Okay, Irata Motors 200,000 CDs. Nana Ajoba 150,000 CDs. Pay Angel 100,000 CDs. Serene Insurance 2 million CDs plus a 20 million CD insurance package. Okay, then you had okay, so the entire number was $12.096 million plus a $20,000 campaign song, and then you had 13.9. Why is it mortal clapping? 13.9 million CDs plus a 20 million.
They want us to clap.
Yes, we are. Immortal is so happy whenever we talk about Black Stars and money because he says that the Black Stars deserve money. We have to give them money. Yeah, that's the template. Guys, I don't know if anybody has comments. Michael, thoughts? Ayala, Kelvin, any thoughts on this drive to raise money for the World Cup campaign?
It is worth stating that whenever there has been that vibrancy around the Black Stars, it has been because there was a deliberate attempt to invest into the project that was being run then.
Okay.
And I always go back to what led to us qualifying for the 2006 World Cup. That windfall from Goalfields Ghana. It was very pivotal in projecting the Black Stars to a certain level. Oftentimes when we talk about investing money into a team, the conversation is restricted to they will pay the players bonuses and all that. But there are other things around the team that need to be catered for with money. And these investments go a long way to play that role. There are certain things that goes on in football which we can't really explain in the limelight like this. So you need money to efficiently run any national team project, especially for an international assignment. So Goalfields, with their investment into the Black Stars, made it a very appealing commodity. The Black Stars became a brand that corporate entities wanted to associate with because the money projected it to a certain level that it became, let's say, the apple of the eye of most prospective sponsors, companies, and they were pouring in their numbers. trying to support, and it projected us. Eventually, it created a certain backbone or background that helped the team to build on in terms of consistent successes. So from 2006, 2008, and eventually 2010, it was because of what or the seeds that had been sowed in 2006. We need that. Without money, we saw how the Black Stars struggled at a point in time. So I think it is very much harmonious when we have corporate entities willing to come to the aid of the team in times like this. And I agree with Imota when he says there needs to be an applause for them, because they see potential. They see something that they are not just throwing money into. They are investing and also want to platform themselves on that podium and then also sell what they have. Engineers and planners, for instance, if they are given $5 million, it's not because they just love football and they want to throw money into football. It is because when they invest that $5 million, there is a certain projection they will get. The Black Stars are going to play at the World Cup. It is the biggest football tournament. So if I am seen to be one of those companies or corporate entities who have massively backed the Black Stars on this course, donating money towards our campaign, whether it goes directly into the team or to things that will be done around to help the team or support the team, I think it is something that is worth commending, and it's something that we actually need to highlight and encourage others to join in. For every other company that donated money, I think it is brilliant. But oftentimes the concern has been around how these monies are used. And if it is that we title the money for a specific purpose, are they used exactly for that purpose? For instance, if it is about getting a certain number of fan base or fans that we want to help travel to the USA to watch the World Cup, to support the team, how is the selection criteria going to be? How is it going to be transparent to the extent that we know that if we are sending Nathan, Kelvin, Ayala, they are going there to play this role and they are going to do just that? I will not in any way agree with anybody who says, no, we don't need to send supporters to USA. We must.
Okay.
Even journalists. There must be a clear plan. From this part of the world, you need to always come in to play a certain role where you ameliorate a certain financial condition of people. There are a lot of people who love such opportunities. So it's not just the players who need exposure.
Okay, just pause. Let me ask you this. And Immortal and I debate this all the time. Who do you think should fund sending supporters and journalists and whoever it is who want to go? Should the money come from the state coffers, or the state should do what it is doing now, create the environment for people to bring money to fund some of these things?
Facilitator. The state should facilitate.
Okay.
And
you don't think the state should take money from its own coffers to fly fans, fly journalists, and all of that?
It depends on where we find ourselves and the kind of situation we are in. I don't think it's advisable where you can facilitate and still get same amount. Then you go directly and dip your hands into the state coffers and then use it for such a purpose. I don't think that is innovative enough. The state should be able to think outside the box, come out with initiatives where they can still generate a pool of money that will be enough for such purposes. The last resort should be when you don't get anything, then you decide to fall on state coffers and then use it for such purposes. But like we saw with the fundraiser, is one of many ways you can go about this whole thing. You can run several campaigns, promotions that will entice people to engage actively in. So it will not be a direct investment from the state, but they will facilitate generating such an amount of money for such a purpose. And that is what I agreed to. We need to go that way. People are paid to do such jobs. Get them on board. You can even engage the private sector. Let them come up with initiatives, how we go about this. Then you use certain state or personalities, high profile personalities, you use them to front such causes. I want to believe the reason we saw this level of donations was because there was a precedent present. The first gentleman of the land, he was there. And so there is this willingness to commit to such purposes when you see, because again, these are businesses who will need, to an extent, doors to be opened in certain quarters for them.
Of course.
So if I am so and so company and I want audience from the presidency. These are initiatives where you engage in to draw their attention. Oh, we did this, we did that. Oh, fine, you are one of us. You support us. So then doors will be open for you. For instance, there are Aboso kind spare parts people who donated 500,000.
Yeah.
They did not just donate money. They sow the seed.
Yeah.
That is what the religious people say. Sow a seed. When you sow the seed,
cast your bread upon the water and you get it after many days.
Yes. You are sowing the seed so that eventually there will be a germination process. It will sprout into a plant and it will bear fruit.
Yeah.
So you are investing into something so that you get certain rewards, whether directly or indirectly, one way or the other. So I think we cannot be relying on, oh, yeah, co-op ne benyeska, so let's just use state money to fund such purposes. No. Let the government facilitate. And then it will draw interest from corporate entities, because the World Cup is a big deal. If it was any other competition that does not have that mass appeal, as we find our Ghana Premier League now, that one I would vouch for direct investment. The GPL, the other domestic leagues, they don't have the appeal, the allure of the World Cup. But with the World Cup, it is big. And any company that hops onto that bandwagon definitely enjoys a certain level of mileage. If, for instance, the government comes together to say that by virtue of all those that donated, we should have like a campaign to also promote them and what they do. So let's run various social media campaigns. Let's do flyers. Let's put their logos on it. Let's commend them. Like we are discussing now, we are giving them free mileage. This morning, I don't think if we would have come here and talked about engineers and planners or talked about Goalkeepers, but they have played the
spare parts.
Exactly. We have nothing to do with the spare parts people unless we have issue with them regarding our cars and we need some parts to sort it out. So I think they will enjoy to a certain level brand awareness initiatives, brand visibility initiatives, recall purposes. They will be part of the conversation. As part of our discussions, I mentioned 2006 and I referenced Goalkeepers.
Yeah.
This is like 20 years ago. But why are we still discussing Goalkeepers? Recall, they played a part in a certain sporting investment and they are still reaping from it. And I will not be discussing them. So when the president is in there, when you have high profile dignitaries in there, these people who are donating money, the donors, they will see it as, one, it would open doors for them where under normal circumstances it wouldn't have happened. Two, they are sowing a seed to reap benefits from, whether in the short term, the medium term, or the long term. And then again, they are also investing into a cause where when they platform on that level, it would also shoot them to a certain extent and it will help one way or the other. If it so happens that we need to send people to the US, I think these donors will definitely have a quota, one way or the other.
Probably.
There could be a list sent from engineers. Oh, these are our guys. You can also take them as part of your list when you are compiling, add them to the list. It could come from some of these companies. You could also benefit directly. So I am all for such an initiative. And as we say, more should come. Yeah, there should be more. What they've done is good. We also encourage others to also join in so that we can be able to help a lot of people who want to travel to the US go. I am all for it. If we can send 1 million fans because we have the funds for it, let's do that.
Okay, interesting one. Calvin, you were there. Was there any mention of the sports fund?
Sporty.
Well, yeah, so whatever money they generate, you know, the excess is going straight into the sports fund.
Okay.
So that is the purpose of this. So,
but do we have an idea of how much exactly we want to spend on taking supporters?
so I think it was mentioned, I think about 12, is it about 12 million? About 12 million. Yes, something around that figure.
Okay.
But I'll be sure. But they just want to take a little over, close to, 2,000.
About 2,000
people.
supporters, okay.
No, not just supporters.
Just 2,000 people.
2,000 people.
To go and watch the World Cup.
supporters, security, journalists,
Okay.
Content creators, bloggers, so many people. So it's not just the supporters. Arguably, we are all Ghanaians, and then when we get to the stadium, you are going to sing for them. Exactly. But there are different roles because they want everybody to go and have a feel of the biggest football event in the world and how things unfold. So each and every other person. So the security persons, you remember people were lambasting Kofi Adams for saying that he was taking the police to go and learn and all that. But those are avenues where you learn because it's a problem in our part of the world, crowd control.
Exactly.
And at such big events, when the police get there and they get to see how things are being done, it's a great avenue for them to witness it themselves and see how, crowds are being controlled. Because in the Ghana-England game, English fans, they will come and they are troublesome. If you see how security manage them, obviously the police will take a cue from that.
Of course, there are things to learn.
Exactly. You don't have to meet them with violence. This is how you can manage the situation and all that. So that is it. And when they manage to generate that, money and the excess, it gets into the sports fund so that it can also be used. So the chairperson for the sports fund was also present. He was in there.
Mr. Wah.
Yes. So he was also in there. So hopefully we get enough. Engineers and planners, if they still can give more, they should
give more.
Yes, we need more money because some of us are looking forward to, the sports fund reviving some of our academics and sports colleges.
That's true.
The last time we were complaining about it, and even with what we were talking about, that the likes of Sami Kofo, Stephen Appiah, these guys played at youth level. They had the sports colleges, and even now we talk about coaching deficit.
The sports colleges have played strong roles in giving us coaches.
And then they will give them. Now you don't have to, clubs wouldn't have to force themselves to bring coaches.
There are
outside.
coaches all available.
You get it. The National Academy just gives the coaches out, and then the government pays them. And at the end of the day, you have solid people with very good background, and then the philosophy. You see, it becomes a similar philosophy. That is why those times, Afrane will handle a team, Coach Aduse will handle the team, Samade will handle a team, Cecil Jones Atukwefi will handle a team, Hebetado will handle a team, and it's a similar style because it's just one philosophy. So you don't have to be chopping and changing. You get it. Now you have different ideas. If Didi handles a team and the team is taken over by Max Okoro, two different ideas. Exactly, different dimensions. For those of us who watch Max Oknodu's Kotoko and Didi's Kotoko, you could clearly see a distinct, between, the way they want to play. So hopefully this works for us so that the rest of the money can be put into other sectors and then rejuvenate our sports sector, especially with football.
Alan, let me ask you this. We've seen 2014, and 2014 is almost like a watershed moment, and it's changed a lot about how we all feel about the national team, right? How do you think we can prevent a repeat of 2014 controversy, all of those things? How do you think we can go and come back without incident, without an issue?
We just need to follow the white paper the government placed on the Jamefa Commission, because that was our way to find solutions. And so if you set up an entity to give you solutions and you end up not adhering to their recommendation that you've put a white paper on, then it means you are not learning from anything. Now, I am not against sports investment. In fact, I am an advocate for it.
Yeah.
As a sports journalist, it is my dream that the biggest problem of our sports, which is funding, gets adequate solutions. Anybody who have listened to me over the years have tagged me as one of the lone campaigners for this sports fund. So I was very, very happy. I started talking about this over 10 years ago. So I was very, very happy it has arrived. But I watched the Friday event and I had some reservations, and I think I will make it known. On any other day, we will have a discussion why our politicians are so interested. They use it as a campaign tool to promise people about traveling opportunities and why they are so up for it to bring in relatives and members from their constituencies to have slots when there are these tournaments. They seems to have a lot of interest in that. Whether that is a good practice or not, I think that will be a discussion for any other day. But Nathan, as I watched the event, my only reservation, and it is a major one, was that why will the president himself and the minister, who is the chief advisor on sports to the president, and everybody who matters in sports will be present.
Okay.
And the occasion will have as its agenda as a fundraising event, and the target is to only to fund supporters and other people we want to take along the World Cup. So I asked myself, but Ghana qualifying to the World Cup, what is our main participation in the World Cup? Is it not about the Blasters first?
That's true.
But we are so comfortable to say that the main team and the main reason why we are going to Canada, US, Mexico, that one, are we saying we are comfortable to use the taxpayers' money to fund? But when it comes to the supporters, which is a peripheral business, we want to say, oh, that one we need to raise funds to do that. Why can't we do for both?
Okay.
Sporty.
Because that is the standard practice. The standard practice everywhere in the world is that, yes, the national team have a symbol of the national pride. So it is supported by every government. But elsewhere, even the national team budgets, the national team spending for all their activities are engaged in the same way that we are engaging lifting the supporters in a corporate environment and outside the coffers of our taxes.
Yeah.
So for me, that is the major problem. That why is it that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has understood and given his approval, that when it comes to the main budget of the Blasters, that we can go to our contingency fund, take taxpayers' money and fund it. But when it comes to supporters, that one we can't do that. So let's go corporate. Can't we go corporate with the Blasters too?
Interesting point.
Can't we? We can go corporate with the Blasters, and that is the standard practice. Now, aside Ghana, my national team is Spain. Spain come out of the tunnel, and you see, is it Mapfre? Mapfre is an insurance company. Then they add Sebo Telecom. It is one of the biggest telecommunications in Spain. The Spanish national team, the European champions, they have a corporate outlook on their funding of their budgets. And it's coming purely from corporate people. England, the crowd, the EEs, a lot of sponsors. Now, someone will say, oh, Ayala, you have been too wild. Come to Africa. Let's go to South Africa. You go to South Africa. The activities of the national team is funded by corporate people, Standard Bank, and all of this, and the rest. There is a bank. Look, you know, Muslims are not really into banking.
Yes, it's not.
But the Egyptian national team, their premium sponsor is a bank.
This is Sporty FM, the voice of.
But the Black Stars have a sponsor.
So my problem is that if we sit on a media platform talking about sports, and the listener is getting the impression that we are saying an event was held on Friday, and that event had a target to raise funds with corporates, to lift people who are extra business of our participating of the World Cup, and its funding is targeted with the event to come out of corporate Ghana. But when it comes to the Blasters budget, the minister has already told us that it has been presented, they are going to go through its approval, and that one will come from the taxpayer. Then I'm saying, look, between the supporters, who will be lifted, and the Blasters team itself,
okay,
which one is attractive to the corporate? Do you understand my point?
I get your point.
Which one is attractive to the
I get your
corporate
point.
people?
I think it's a very
and which
interesting
one
point
must we take to them to fund?
Yeah.
Because that is where, for me, the difference has always been. And if we don't tackle the issue of the national teams wholly being funded by corporate people, we will always have an apathy from our citizens towards the national team because they feel it is their taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
They are so stringent on how much are we paying in bonuses, how much. The only way we can free ourselves from that conversation
is if we give that burden to corporate.
Exactly. And it shouldn't be only the supporters. So when I hear people say, oh, it is the World Cup, it is attractive, that is why we have people donating $5 million. I'm saying
They can donate that money to the
exactly
Blasters.
which team qualifies out to the World Cup? The attraction is the Blasters itself and not the supporters. So if we had gone with the Blasters budget itself, these same people would have come.
They'll still donate anyway.
But why are we so comfortable saying, oh, that one, we can take care of it as a nation from our taxpayers' money? But the lifting of the supporters, oh, that one, corporate must come in. Look, we know Honorable Kofi Adams is listening. The government apparatus, they are listening to the show. From this desk, we are telling them the normal practice everywhere, even though the national team have an element of national pride and it belongs to the states, we beg them, everything about national team funding must have a corporate look.
Fair point.
The event on Friday has shown us that it is an attractive venture, that if we are committed politically and we have the will to sell everything national team to corporate Ghana, led by the president himself,
then we can sell the team itself.
We can get funds. So let's take everything whole and sell to them.
Because think about it. What was the budget? The proposed
30 million.
No, I'm talking about
for
the World Cup.
13 million something.
For 13 million. So from what I realized, which means that we could still get corporate to have given that same amount.
Because we have 12 million now. 12 million tops.
The events organizer said the target for the fundraising was $30 million.
And they have 12.
And they have 12 now. And they are so hopeful they will get a 30 million. Now, assuming because we are adding the Blasters budget itself, so we raise the target to say 40 million.
40 million, yeah.
And say out of the 40 million, probably we will give the Blasters budget out of it like 15 or 20 million. Then the rest goes into other things. I am even proposing that it should be a permanent approach, that national team funding must be purely on corporate.
So the FA prepares a budget, government looks at it, it adjusts the budget, everybody is fine, and then we take that budget and then we tell corporate Ghana that Black Stars are going to the World Cup, we need support. How much can you give? So company X can give 1 million, somebody 2, somebody 5, we bring it all together. So you're saying that, so that burden should not be on the taxpayer.
I'm saying that we shouldn't be comfortable to accept that the Blasters budget, from our taxpayers' money.
And then when it comes to lifting support,
because for me, that is other business. The premium we are putting on raising money from corporate for other business, for me, I don't want to use the word.
I get you. I totally understand.
It doesn't sit well with my feeling.
The dynamics is a bit.
You hold a contrary opinion?
Yeah, because I think, you see, is it just for just the event?
No.
Point is that
my point is that
we held an event and we've told corporate Ghana that we need funding.
I'm speaking to, is it for just the World Cup?
No, I'm saying, okay, you listen, Nathan, this is my point.
Exactly.
In summary, I'm saying the standard practice everywhere, standard practice, not just for tournaments, is that national teams
have sponsors
in footballing countries.
they have sponsors,
have corporate sponsors. they fund the national team.
Like major financiers.
Exactly. Now, if we had doubts that we can't do same in Ghana, the story of Goalface Takwa Dama in 2006 to 14 premium sponsors in 2010 to GNPC coming in to this Friday event is evident enough that if we decide to go the corporate approach in funding our national teams, we will be able to nail deals. That is my point. That these examples are there to guide us. That if we decide to take national team and its funding to a corporate
structure like sponsor.
Exactly. We will be able to nail it. Because if 190 and it is not even the major business of our participation at the World Cup, which is the Blasters itself, we are saying we have the way. And look, it's always come with the faces of the fundraising. It is His Excellency. He is the face of the fundraising.
Yeah.
Corporate Ghana will look at the president and say, "Oh, President, for your goodwill, I am coming in with this." So I'm saying that if the national team have been established by the Jamaica Commission to belong to the state, then its funding and its corporate going to look for sponsorship to formalize and say
be done by the
be led by the state, just as we did for the event on Friday.
And if the president headlines your event,
Exactly. So we will do it. Let's formalize it and not be so happy that with the blaster budget itself, my taxpayer can pay, but with lifting the supporters, that one we can bring the corporate. They should come in for everything.
Interesting point.
That's a brilliant point. But my challenge here is the regularity, because
okay, if you like, we can restrict it to say World Cup. If you think, we think that going to corporate Ghana every other time,
the enthusiasm behind the donations is because of the World Cup.
No problem. So every time we qualify,
exactly
that's the plan.
point. That is how we.
No, but Asaribodu, aside Blasters going for major tournaments, how many matches do they play within a year?
Not a lot.
Exactly. So I'm saying that we are not looking for 30 million as sponsors of the Blasters. I am talking about the evidence of the attractiveness of our national team.
Yes.
If we are able to at least nail 3 million a year through this same approach led by government to say we are looking for sponsors for the national teams and we are able to get even 3 million. Now,
to cover all national teams.
To cover for the budget of the national teams within a year.
Okay, fair point.
So that we will not come and we will not even need Honorable Kofi Adams sitting on national television or any channel telling us the Blasters are going for this friendly, the Blasters are going for this qualifiers, and that is the budget and it is being funded by the taxpayer. Those monies can be taken care of by the corporates in the normal years of the Blasters' life and other national teams. Then doing major tournaments.
So like your AFCON.
We then know that we have to lift ourselves to match the demands of the team because it's a tournament. We can do same to beef up the annual budgets that is being taken care of by the sponsors. So that the idea is that everything that has to do with funding of our national teams should have the corporate approach just as we had this Friday.
Fair. I love that point. I love that point. 9:58. Kelvin, do you have any quick comments before we close out?
I think it's fine. It's fair enough. Hopefully we do it just like, we got GoFills to support. We got GMPC at a point. You get it. Now, fine. I don't know if the Blasters, does the Blasters have is MTN, right?
There's MTN.
There are so many other.
They have so many.
There are so many other sponsors. But I just hope that maybe after this, the government will lead the charge.
Yeah.
And then we have one big company. We never know.
We may not be able to get.
Maybe engineers and planners.
A number of them.
You never know. Maybe engineers and planners will take over. Will take over sponsorship. They'll give you 5 million, and we love it. Hopefully they give us that.
It's about
because now. No, you see,
when you say regularity, how do you mean? Like you don't want it to be a burden on
the consistency. Can we sustain that?
So that is why we want the government to facilitate so that the companies will come.
You see, this is the ideal situation.
Michael, now look, if you zone it down to the Black Stars, the AFCON will be played every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
So that's okay. World Cup is already played every 4 years.
But in a year, do we have an idea of the Black Stars' budget? Did you get the point? It means we need a corporate sponsors, not just a sponsor. I mean, I don't think one sponsor
No.
to cough up like $5 million minimum every year. Yeah.
What we can do is that, say for example, when we generate money from, say, going to this year's World Cup, we can hive off a section, put that somewhere, and say that every year we run the national team from this big amount we got. So you go to your sponsor once every 4 years.
I don't know. No, because we are going to play
what has been done before.
What we call the nations and the nations African.
It has been done before.
I'm coming.
The likes of this comrade for bank, what is
Unibank
was sponsors of the Black Stars.
So we get a sponsor.
GMPC was sponsors of the
So
Black
we have
Stars.
sponsors.
2 million, 1 million,
But
3 million a year.
even
You put it together.
No, even during that time,
Yes.
we were still pumping in state resources. The reason I'm saying that I'm coming. The reason I'm saying that is this going to be a government policy? And where does it end and where does it continue? We've had issues with implementation of policies.
No, but
Like this same Jamefe white paper.
yes.
How many years have we gone without it being fully implemented? That is where I have an issue. That's why I said regularity.
No, you see, Michael. So my counterpoint is that this is not. It's not policy hardcore written in
This
stone.
is Sporty FM,
You understand?
the voice of
It's just
sports.
a broad convention we draw up,
Okay.
right? So we have the Black Stars currently do have corporate sponsors who give money. Great.
Yeah.
What we can do once this is my twist on Ayala's point, and I agree with him at the base. My twist is that once every 4 years, be it an AFCON or a World Cup, we go to the corporate world and say we are going to the AFCON.
So like we
This
need
is
50
very
million.
good. This is what it will cost us. We need support. The state automatically can give and should give something small. Then you can get corporate to support, because it's that once in a 4-year tournament. That's my point. Calvin makes a point about the Nations League. That is true. So now we need to
Every
figure
year.
out. So we need to figure out. Okay, we can't go to corporate Ghana every year and say we are going to play Nations League.
Sporty FM.
That we have to think of a way of taking care of. But for the big ticket tournament, once every 4 years, if you show up at a corporate's door for them to donate, I don't think it's that much of an issue.
But you see, I disagree that the Black Stars and the national teams are not attractive enough to nail sponsors throughout their lifetime.
Fair point.
They do. Look, German football has gone through one of the worst.
Period.
I'm talking about their national team.
Yeah.
But it's during that same period
That they got sponsored.
that Nike are fighting over Adidas and they've won.
Yeah.
That was one.
And think about it, for Nike to kick out Adidas.
in Germany.
Yeah.
And is within that same period that Volkswagen has overtaken Mercedes.
As the new sponsor.
Why? Because the national pride that comes with you being the headline sponsors of the national team. It's attractive. I'm saying that.
Bayala, don't you also think that return on investment? Don't you also think that VW looks at the German national team? So look, this is the German national.
Good. So that is what I'm saying. That look,
If we do
it is. We are not looking at the volumes of the monies that Volkswagen give to the DFB concerning it. We can have our own version standard.
Fair.
And it will beat my mind for anybody to tell me that we can't get a 3 million annual sponsors for the
I
Black
think it's
Stars
doable.
from 3 companies
It's
in Ghana.
doable. It's doable.
Mining companies, telcos.
It's doable. If you spread the burden of 3 million.
I think where you guys-
Let me. Do you know why we are struggling to understand this? It is because, for me, one major problem with our national team have been with the governance system.
Fair.
And it comes with, why is it that at any point in time there are no sponsors of the Black Stars, right? But we've never questioned from any minister if he comes to read to us that Black Stars are going to play against Comoros and say Chad. home and away. And then is the budget presented by the Ghana Football Association. We've perused it, we've agreed, we've cut this, we've added that, and this is what we've agreed. And the money is coming from the contingency fund from the government. My point is, in that engagement with the FA, as the owners of the national team, were they able to ask the FA how much the sponsors themselves, which parts are they taking out of this budget, and which parts must be owned by the government? Now, if that was a normal practice, then we would have realized from the base that we are already being taken care of by sponsors, and we can only improve on that in volumes, led by a partnership between the FA and the government. It can be done easily, and it has been done before. GMPC, Unibank, Cherokee, Guinness Ghana were sponsors of the Blasters, and they were not sponsors doing tournaments alone. They were normalized
every day.
Exactly.
Sponsors.
That is my point.
Now,
You make your point, and then we close.
Where the point I want to drum home is the consistency.
Where that means what?
The national team belongs to who? They'll tell you is the state.
Yes.
We have had different governments implement different things. We are not consistent. So a change of government would definitely affect this plan.
And that is the consistency I'm preaching.
Exactly.
So we develop a plan and we stick to it, irrespective of political regime.
Look, can it happen?
Why can't it happen?
No, again,
it can, but we have to be committed to it.
Environment shouldn't be too much of a politics.
Over here, we cannot debate that affairs around our national team
are heavily
politically influenced.
Yes.
But sorry, not to break you. Between MPP and NDC, which government will not appreciate if it comes to power and it doesn't have to go into the taxpayers' money to fund the national
everybody
team?
will be happy.
Everybody. So where would the problem come from?
You don't get it.
Okay,
You see,
let me get you.
there are, I don't want to say people, but there are offices that thrive on such conversations.
Okay,
Black Stars budget.
where you are going, fine.
They thrive on Black Stars budget, conversations around it.
Yeah.
It gives us a certain level of prominence.
Yes, that's true.
Their names, their faces are in the mix. They are taking decisions revolving around the national team.
Okay.
Now, the moment that power, authority would have to cease, it would affect their influence one way or the other. I don't know if you are getting
I get you.
The Black Stars is a heavily politicized team since Adam. No, it's a team that was built on politics.
It's true.
So you cannot distance politics from it. Now, the moment it has to happen, that offices would have to lose a certain level of influence.
They won't like it. They'll fight back.
it.
Okay.
And the moment there is a change in government, it would cause people to change how things are being done. What Ayala is
Maybe
saying is
we're
a
having an
ideal
idealistic
situation.
conversation.
In Germany, nobody will go to the DFB and be. Have you ever heard the sports minister of the chairman?
They don't even have a sport.
They don't even have a sport.
Come and talk about it.
They don't even have sports.
Or England. Or that. They don't go. Yeah, because
would you see issues of the national team budget of the Three Lions being discussed in there?
No. They won't discuss.
So why?
It's not
Over
a business
here,
of
the
government.
practice, the traditions, and everything, they are different.
No, but we see, I'm sorry, but we see.
Okay.
That is why we have programs like this. That,
to broach the subject
exactly,
and cause people to think about it.
You get it. The function of us as media is to shape policy, is to tell them what they are not doing right, and is to give them policy alternatives.
Yes.
So I don't like programs where people are so interested in discussing Blasters budget, how much it's costing the taxpayer, and not offering solutions. So you offer it. Whether the system accepts it or not,
At least we've put a
at
suggestion
least
on the
this
table.
is the proposal
Yes.
from the sports media and say, look, this is the way all other best practices are going. Follow suit. And look, I don't even know what it will cost anybody. I don't know what it will cost. For instance, if there is even the perception that people gain from the current system, isn't more money more gaining?
Yeah, of course.
If you gain from this little taxpayers' money that you have to even cancel things, if you are able to go full corporate and you are getting more monies around the national teams. And then if you want to chop, then you can chop more. It's as simple as that. But we will not look at the system and say, because of that, we will not offer policy directions and alternatives to them. That one is our job.
We have to. 9 minutes after 10. Anyway, look, if we leave us, we'll talk about this all day. I'm just enjoying the conversation with the guys. But we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much. Let me thank Kelvin Owusu and Sam.
Before you go, regardless, people must still contribute. Star 899 hash. That one they have to. Star 899 hash. They need to, dial it and then follow. It's
so
easy.
They can contribute.
Yes.
Okay.
The raffle and it's 10 Ghana cedis.
10 Ghana cedis per ticket.
And you stand a chance of getting a fully paid trip to the United
US.
States. Canada and Mexico to go. So yes, that is, even if you don't want to go, that is your contribution. At least you'd be able to say, me, I contributed to the Black Stars, funding the World Cup 2026 for Ghana. And our representation, so that at least you'd have your ticket showing. The near future, if someone misbehaves, you tell him how much I've invested in helping the national team to survive. And let's not forget, support is always an integral part of the sport.
It is.
Yes, especially for some of our players who show pension. When Niama is fit and he's playing, and when Kudus, Starboy, they love that. And
so supporters
exactly
need to be there,
and we'll be glad to see that. So please,
Sporty FM.
Yes.
All right,
the players, they are going to give to charity. Yes, they are giving back to charity.
Have to give to charity.
When they come, they go to the Jowulu special school and all that. They give back to charity. To the also children's home and all that. They do their bit. So hopefully we are going together. So star 899 hash. You follow prompt and then you can get your ticket, or worldcupraffle.com.
Okay.
And then you can also get your tickets bought there. So anywhere you are across the world, you can contribute to this. And hopefully, yes, just as Ayala has said, as Aibodo has said, yes, we'll reach a consensus so that we have a national team being supported. Well, because you may want to play some friendly games on your own. This morning, Hugo Bruce is crying. Why? He wanted to play Brazil or Argentina. But they are taking €5 million and $5 million, and South Africa say they cannot pay, so they have to settle for Panama.
Ghana, they will be watching.
So if South Africa is crying, we are glad that we have people wanting to play us because
we are privileged to have Austria and Germany.
Exactly, and even later on Wales and Mexico.
I mean, earlier I was giving props to the FA for getting
South Africa is struggling. So yes, let's just help our national team so we can get it things sorted.
All right, just before we leave, just a few pointers from last weekend's event. So Ghana's Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyarko Ampim, he chairs the World Cup fundraising subcommittee. He announced the $30 million target. Now, the campaign will include a raffle. It secured $10 million on the first day. There are plans for transparency and reinvesting the surplus amounts into the sports fund. Okay, and the raffle was launched by the Sports Minister Kofi Adams, Honorable Kofi Adams, with support from the Ministry of Finance. So you can all have a stake in it. So, look, play the game, contribute, and let's all contribute to the kitty to take Ghana to the World Cup. 12 after 10, let's wrap it up this morning on the Sporty Breakfast. My name is Nathan Kawa. I had great company. Michael Asaibodu joined me. Owusu Bempa Ayala joined me. Kelvin Owusu joined me. Earlier, we caught up with Abigail Senasosu, who's in Austria. My production team, Immortal, Angela Nanekia. Thank you so much. Shout outs to Fly and Emmanuel Ayamga. Shout outs to my DJ Fidelis. Shout outs to the technical team. Shout outs to you, our listeners. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we are back. Remember, there's the news at midday, Sporty Plug at 12:30, Sporty Drive at 4, European Nights at 7. Keep your doors locked on Sporty FM. We are the voice of sport. We'll catch you later. Have a wonderful time.